My name is Deputy Chief Robert Sweeney, and I'm with the Plumpton and Gilbert's Cove Volunteer Fire Department in Digby County, Nova Scotia. Firefighter Art Sutherland from the Myra Road Volunteer Fire Department and myself have been talking and discussing about the use of a green light in Nova Scotia by volunteer firefighters. We've talked about this idea, and the idea has been brought up to various organizations in the province. The Province of Nova Scotia, the Fire Service Association of Nova Scotia, and the Office of the Fire Marshal. We believe passionately in this program because this would be something that would benefit volunteer firefighters across the province. As it stands right now, I've been talking with professional and personal acquaintances about response to fire calls, about how some do not understand how a firefighter makes it to the fire station, without getting caught up in routine daily traffic. And a lot of them say that they don't notice the firefighter plates. And because the use of four-way flashers is prohibited, that limits the firefighter's ability to notify the motoring public that they're on their way to an emergency. This green light is hopefully going to be the new trend, hopefully the new way, the future of the volunteer fire service. The green light would be easily recognizable and universally standard across the province. And we would hope that with conjunction with all these three bodies of government who have the say and have the power within the province, we'll be able to see the massive advantages for the volunteer. We risk our lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all we're asking for is a little bit of help. I'm a chief officer, so it's not so bad for me because I have red lights that I can use. But the volunteer firefighters that struggle as soon as they leave home or they leave work, they've got to go to that fire station as fast as they can, within the guidelines of the law and within being safe. This green light would alert the public that they are responding to a fire call, and it would be appreciated, but not demanding, the right-of-way on the road. All I can say is that we approach this program with an open mind. The negative side effects of this program are definitely not going to outweigh the positive. And every new program will come with growing pains. It's a guarantee. We understand that, we know that, and we're not trying to hide that fact. We understand that this new program will need a lot of ironing out and a lot of work to be done. So all we're asking is, please, let's approach this with an open mind. It's a new idea, it's a new concept. It's used by many states in the United States. It's used by different provinces within Canada. And they seem to be they seem to be having great success with it. So we're hoping that we can get this going in the province of Nova Scotia and give that firefighter that extra tool that they need to help somebody else in a time of need. Thank you very much. In this segment, we're going to talk about the four-way flashers and its use on motor vehicles in the province of Nova Scotia. For many years, volunteer firefighters used the four-way flashers to respond to an emergency call. It was a widely recognized practice, but it was never officially sanctioned by the Nova Scotia Department of Transportation. It was never recognized in the Motor Vehicle Act of Nova Scotia, and no fire body actually ever officially recognized it. But it was a practice that had been used, and I believe some fire departments still use it. The four-way flashers in Nova Scotia, as I'm sure you're well aware, is not for responding to fire calls. The four-way flashers are a hazard warning signal to other motorists that you pose a traffic hazard, whether it be a blown-out tire on the side of the road, mechanical problems on the side of the road, or posing a traffic hazard in your particular lane. It would alert other drivers that are coming onto you that there is something to watch out for, to reduce speed and drive with caution. We can't expect that signal of the four-way flashers to also mean a dual meaning of firefighters responding to a fire call. You have the four-way flashers meaning slow-moving or stopped vehicles, and then you have four-way flashers meaning vehicles moving in a speed, at highway speed, going to an emergency. It's conflicting and it shouldn't be done. I urge all of my firefighters in my department that use of four-way flashers is prohibited. It is also stated in the Nova Scotia Traffic Management Guidelines, the new guidelines that were passed down and approved by the province, that firefighters are not to use four-ways while responding to an emergency call. But as you can see, four-way flashers don't draw very much attention. They're so commonplace, many people use them. I've seen them used on mail cars delivering the mail. I've seen them used on people experiencing mechanical difficulties. I've seen them used by people just pulled over to the side of the road and they're presenting a traffic hazard by cutting down the lane of traffic to one. So yes, we fully agree with the Fire Service Association of the province. We also fully agree with any other body that says that the four-way flashers should not be used by volunteer firefighters. We agree that it is also an unsafe practice and is not something the firefighters should be doing. So please, when you're taking into consideration the use of the green light on personally owned vehicles by firefighters, remember, we used to use this and we got away with it. Nobody said anything, and now there's a rule saying we can't use it. So again, take that into consideration with this open mind concept about using the green lights and the POVs responding to emergencies. Thank you very much. In this segment, we're going to talk about the use of red emergency lights by chief officers of the volunteer fire departments within Nova Scotia. As you can see on my vehicle, with the use of a rotating light or the use of an LED light, my noticeability is quite high. I can use this light and I can deem myself as an emergency vehicle when I'm responding to calls. The red emergency light has been used by by chief officers of the province for many years, dating various years back. The use of the red light also needs to be regulated because right now in the province, any chief officer can use any type or combination of red lights to respond to a call. By introducing the green light for firefighters, we're not asking for a free rein policy as an unregulated policy as it is now with the red lights. We're asking for accountability. We want to be held accountable for the use of these lights and their proper implementation on the way to a fire scene. We also want accountability for those firefighters using the green light on the way to an emergency. We feel that as firefighters, we are a professional emergency organization, and as such, we should be treated in the same respect and with the same qualificational standards as your paramedics and your police officers who are qualified to operate the apparatus that they drive on their way to emergencies with their emergency equipment. With the use of the red light, we believe that the Fire Service Association of Nova Scotia and the province of Nova Scotia should enact some sort of a regulation or a policy or a guideline that we can all abide by that would be legal. Make one light a standard, whether it's a rotator, an LED, a strobe, or a combination of lights. However it would be seen fit, that would be the best benefit to the volunteer firefighter. Like I said, this is not about running lights, this is not about feeling important, this isn't about getting a cheap thrill while we're on our way to an emergency. When we respond, seconds count. It's not the minutes that count, it's not the hours that count, it's those precious seconds that we need to get from our houses or our places of work to the fire station. As I said, I'm lucky. I'm an individual who holds the rank of deputy chief, therefore I'm authorized to use the red lights. For my firefighters, who are just as qualified to respond as I am, it makes their life very difficult when they get stuck in slow-moving traffic and they can't get by and they have no way to identify themselves and no legal right or no way of even asking somebody to pull over. As we said, the red lights and siren should be mandatory by deputy chiefs and fire chiefs, and they should also be regulated. Firefighters and chief officers should be held accountable for their actions if they violate speed limits, if they go through stop signs, if they ignore highway signs and operate their personal vehicle in a manner that is unsafe on the highways. These people should be found, they should be punished to the full extent of the law, and they also should be held accountable for anything that they do. This would also increase public trust within the fire service because the perception of the fire service is we're volunteer. A lot of people appreciate that and some people don't appreciate that. But what we need to do is come up with a universal standard across the board that makes all of us accountable for what we do and make us all responsible and more professional. Again, I'm asking you and I'm pleading with you as a deputy chief of a rural volunteer fire department with a spread out membership amongst my communities to please approach this. Please see Mr. Sutherland's idea with an open mind. Go in there willing to hear the story, willing to hear the facts, the statistics, and everything that he's put together. Firefighter Art Sutherland has gone through a lot of work, a lot of hard work, painstaking work, a lot of emails have been traded, and a lot of contacts have been made. Mr. Sutherland's efforts should not go in vain, and I believe that his efforts will pave the way for hopefully a future, more professional fire service within the province. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our proposal. And again, we hope that within time, the Fire Service Association can work with Mr. Sutherland and myself, and we can come up with a policy or a guideline that the province can enact so that all volunteer firefighters have another tool in their toolbox. Thank you very much.